In the bustling corridors of St. Mary's Hospital, where the beeps of monitors echoed like a symphony of life and death, a young nurse named Emily Harper made a decision that would change everything. She didn't know it then, but the man lying in that sterile bed, pale and alone, was no ordinary patient. He was Alexander Voss, the reclusive CEO of a tech empire worth billions, hiding behind a false name to escape the loneliness that money couldn't buy. What if I told you that one act of selfless kindness could bridge the chasm between two broken souls? Stick around for this heart-wrenching tale of sacrifice, secrets, and second chances. It's going to pull at your heartstrings like nothing else. If you're already feeling that emotional tug, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories that remind us of the power of humanity. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Emily Harper was only 25, but she carried the weight of the world on her slender shoulders. Growing up in a small town in rural Ohio, she had watched her mother battle kidney failure for years, the disease slowly stealing away the vibrant woman who had raised her single-handedly after her father left when she was just a toddler. Those long nights in the hospital, holding her mom's hand as dialysis machines hummed in the background, had ignited a fire in Emily. She vowed to become a nurse, to be the light for others in their darkest hours. After graduating top of her class, she moved to the big city, landing a job at St. Mary's where the shifts were grueling and the pay barely covered her student loans and rent for her tiny apartment. But Emily didn't complain. She poured her heart into every patient, remembering her mother's final words, "Kindness costs nothing, but it can save everything." It was a rainy Tuesday evening when Alexander Voss was wheeled into the emergency room. To the staff, he was just Alex Smith, a 38-year-old drifter with no family listed in his records. In truth, Alexander was the founder of Voss Tech, a company that revolutionized cloud computing and made him one of the wealthiest men under 40. But wealth came at a price. His parents had died in a car accident when he was in college, leaving him to build his empire alone. Relationships. They fizzled under the pressure of his workaholic lifestyle. Friends, mere acquaintances who saw dollar signs. Alexander had isolated himself in a penthouse fortress, surrounded by gadgets but starved of genuine connection. Now his kidneys were failing, years of stress and neglect catching up. He checked in under a pseudonym, desperate for anonymity, not wanting pity or paparazzi. As he lay there, hooked to IVs, he felt more alone than ever, staring at the ceiling and wondering if this was the end. Emily was assigned to his ward that night. She entered his room with her signature warm smile, her scrubs slightly rumpled from a double shift. "Hi, Mr. Smith, I'm Emily, your nurse. How are you feeling?" Her voice was soft, like a gentle breeze cutting through the storm outside. Alexander looked up, his sharp blue eyes meeting her kind hazel ones. For the first time in years, someone was looking at him, not his fortune, not his title, just him. "Like I've been hit by a truck," he muttered, trying to mask his vulnerability with sarcasm, but Emily saw through it. She adjusted his pillows, checked his vitals, and sat for a moment listening as he reluctantly shared fragments of his story, a fabricated tale of traveling jobs and lost contacts. She didn't pry, instead she shared a bit about her mom, how the hospital had become her second home. "Pain has a way of making us feel small," she said, "but it's also what connects us." Over the next few weeks, as Alexander's condition stabilized but his need for a transplant became clear, a bond formed. Emily's shifts aligned with his treatments and their conversations deepened. He'd tease her about her endless energy, calling her super nurse, and she'd laugh, bringing him extra Jell-O or sneaking in a book from the hospital library. Unbeknownst to him, Emily got tested as a potential donor. It was anonymous, part of the hospital's program, but when the results came back, a perfect match, she didn't hesitate. Her own life was a mess, mounting bills from her mom's funeral still unpaid, a leaky roof in her apartment, and exhaustion from working overtime, but saving a life that was worth any sacrifice. "It's what Mom would have wanted," she told her best friend Sarah over coffee one rare day off. Sarah worried, "Em, you're young, what if you need that kidney someday?" But Emily's resolve was ironclad. The surgery was scheduled and she requested anonymity, not wanting gratitude or obligation. The operation went smoothly, but recovery was another story. Alexander woke up in post-op, groggy but alive, his new kidney functioning like a miracle. The doctors marveled at the match, but he felt a pang of guilt. Whoever the donor was, they had given him a second chance he wasn't sure he deserved. Meanwhile, Emily was in her own recovery room, pain radiating through her side but a quiet peace in her heart. She missed her shifts, missed seeing Mr. Smith, but she pushed through physical therapy, determined to return stronger. Challenges mounted, infections threatened her healing, and without work her finances spiraled. Bills piled up and she confided in Sarah about the fear of eviction. "I don't regret it," Emily whispered one night, tears streaming. "But God, it's hard." Alexander, discharged and back in his penthouse, couldn't shake the emptiness. The transplant had saved his body, but his soul still ached. He hired a private investigator to uncover the donor's identity against protocol, but money opened doors. When the report landed on his desk, revealing Emily Harper, the nurse who had cared for him so selflessly, his world shattered. "She didn't know," he murmured, staring at her photo. Guilt crashed over him like waves. How could he repay this? He started anonymously, paying off her medical bills, sending groceries to her door. But it wasn't enough. He needed to face her. Weeks later, Emily returned to work pale but determined. Her first shift back, she was called to the admin office. There waiting was Alexander dressed in a sharp suit, no longer the frail patient. "Mr. Smith," she gasped. He smiled faintly. "It's Voss, actually, Alexander Voss." The revelation hit her like a thunderbolt. The lonely man she'd saved was a millionaire CEO. "Why the secrecy?" she asked, voice trembling. He explained his isolation, the fear of being used. "You gave me more than a kidney, Emily. You gave me hope." But she pulled back, overwhelmed. "I didn't do it for money or fame. I did it because it's right." Their reunion sparked a whirlwind of emotions. Alexander wanted to help, offering to pay her debts, even a job at his company, but Emily resisted, pride clashing with need. "I don't want your pity," she said during a heated coffee meetup. Challenges deepened, paparazzi caught wind, splashing their story across tabloids. "Nurse saves tycoon, fairy tale or fraud?" headlines screamed. Emily faced scrutiny at work, colleagues whispering about favoritism. Alexander's board questioned his judgment, fearing scandal. Loneliness resurfaced for both, her from the invasion of privacy, him from old walls rebuilding. Yet through it all they talked, long nights on her balcony sharing dreams. Emily opened up about her father's abandonment, how it made her fear trust. Alexander confessed his parents' loss, the void success couldn't fill. One stormy evening, as rain pelted the windows, he took her hand. "You've shown me that wealth means nothing without connection. Let me be there for you, not as a debtor, but as a friend." Tears flowed, barriers crumbled. Resolution came gradually. Emily accepted help, but on her terms, using it to start a foundation for organ donors. Alexander stepped back from CEO duties, focusing on philanthropy, finding purpose beyond profits. Their relationship blossomed into love, slow and real. A year later, at a gala for the foundation, Alexander proposed under twinkling lights. "You saved my life, Emily. Now let me share it with you." She said yes, the crowd erupting in cheers. But the true victory was internal. Emily learned vulnerability didn't mean weakness. Alexander discovered richness in giving back. As their story spread, inspiring donations worldwide, Emily reflected in her journal, "One kidney, two lives transformed." And you, dear viewer, if this tale moved you, remember, kindness ripples far beyond what we see. It can heal the unseen wounds, bridge impossible divides. So if you're inspired, smash that like button, subscribe for more stories that touch the soul, and share this with someone who needs a reminder of hope. Who knows, your act today might change tomorrow. But let's dive deeper into Emily's early days, because her journey didn't start in that hospital room. Born in the sleepy town of Willow Creek, Ohio, Emily was the kind of kid who bandaged stray cats and organized bake sales for neighbors in need. Her mother, Clara, was a schoolteacher with a laugh that could light up a room, but kidney disease dimmed that light year by year. Emily, at just 12, learned to administer meds, monitor blood pressure, and advocate with doctors. "You're my little warrior," Clara would say, ruffling her hair. When Clara passed at 18, Emily was devastated, channeling grief into nursing school. Scholarships helped, but she worked waitress jobs, sacrificing sleep and social life. Arriving in the city, St. Mary's felt like a battlefield, overworked staff, underfunded wards. Yet Emily thrived, her empathy a superpower. Patients loved her. One elderly woman even knitted her a scarf as thanks. Alexander's backstory was worlds apart. Raised in Silicon Valley by ambitious parents, he showed prodigy-level coding skills early. But the accident at 20 left him orphaned, inheritance fueling Voss Tech's launch. Success came fast, IPO at 28 billions by 30, paparazzi hounded him, relationships turned transactional. "Everyone wants a piece," he'd tell his therapist, sessions his only outlet. Kidney issues started subtly, fatigue, swelling, ignored until collapse. Checking in as Alex Smith was his escape, a chance to be human. Their first real conversation, over hospital pudding. "This stuff tastes like regret," Alexander joked. Emily chuckled, "Try adding cinnamon, my mom's trick." She didn't know it, but that sparked his curiosity about life beyond boardrooms. As dialysis sessions dragged on, he'd ask about her dreams. "I want to open a clinic in my hometown," she'd say, eyes sparkling. "Affordable care for everyone." He admired her fire, contrasting his cynicism. The donor test was impulsive. Emily's blood type matched many, but fate aligned. Signing papers, she felt terror and triumph. Surgery day, she whispered a prayer for her mom. Post-op pain was brutal, incision throbbing, mobility limited. Home alone, she struggled with stairs, meals. Sarah visited, but work called her away. Bills arrived, thousands for copays. Panic set in, eviction notices loomed. Alexander's discovery, a turning point. The Pies report detailed Emily's struggles, loans, mom's debts. He wept, first time in years. Anonymous gifts started, a check for hospital-era reimbursement, flowers with notes saying, "Thank you, stranger." Emily suspected but dismissed. Then the office summons, seeing him transformed, healthy, commanding, she felt exposed. "You lied," she accused. "I protected myself," he countered. Anger flared, but vulnerability won. "I was scared," he admitted. Of being alone forever. Media storm hit hard. Reporters camped outside her apartment. Coworkers gossiped. "Gold digger," one sneered. Emily considered quitting, retreating home. Alexander faced board pressure. "This distracts from profits." He fought back. "Profits without purpose are empty." Therapy helped them navigate couples sessions revealing fears. Emily's trust issues stemmed from dad, Alexander's from betrayal. Resolution unfolded beautifully. Foundation launch, Harpervoss Organ Aid funding donors' recoveries. Emily led it, quitting nursing for advocacy. Alexander mentored startups, finding joy in guidance. Their wedding, intimate in Willow Creek with patients as guests. Honeymoon in Europe, but they volunteered at clinics. Years on, they had twins, a boy and girl, teaching them compassion. Emily's clinic opened, serving hundreds. Alexander wrote a memoir, From Isolation to Inspiration, donating proceeds. This story isn't just theirs, it's a beacon. In a world of division, one act bridges gaps. Kindness isn't weakness, it's strength. If it resonated, like, subscribe, share. Your support fuels more tales. Remember, you hold the power to change lives. Start today. Expanding further, let's explore the emotional layers during Emily's recovery. Alone in her apartment, the silence amplified her doubts. Did I throw my life away? She'd wonder, staring at scars. Pain meds blurred days, nightmares of her mom's decline haunted nights. Sarah's calls helped. You're a hero, Em. But heroism felt hollow without purpose. Alexander in his penthouse paced marble floors. Health returned but guilt gnawed. She gave everything I hid. He visited incognito, leaving care packages. One day, spotting her struggling with groceries, he revealed himself. Let me help, she refused at first, pride stinging, but over tea, walls cracked. I lost my family young, he shared, built walls to survive. Emily nodded. Me too, dad left, mom died, trust is scary. Their first date, simple picnic in the park. Laughter flowed, sparks ignited, but challenges persisted. A tabloid leak accused Emily of scheming. It's lies, she cried. Alexander held her. We'll fight together. Legal teams quashed it. Public support grew via social media campaigns. Foundation work bonded them. Fundraising galas, donor stories each reinforced their purpose. One challenge, Alexander's relapse scare, tests clear, but it reminded them of fragility. We live fully now, Emily said. Parenthood added depth. Twins' birth, emotional whirlwind. Alexander, once lonely, now surrounded by love. Emily balanced career and family, inspiring women everywhere. Inspiring message, life's richest currency is connection. Donate time, words, organs, whatever. It returns tenfold. If moved, engage below, subscribe for upliftment. Your story might inspire next. To make this even longer, consider side characters. Sarah, Emily's rock, a fellow nurse with her own dreams of travel. She pushed Emily to accept help. Pride won't pay bills. Dr. Ramirez, the surgeon, became a mentor, sharing wisdom on balance. Alexander's assistant, Mia, loyal through years, encouraged his vulnerability. Boss, life's more than spreadsheets. Board member Mr. Klein, initially skeptical, became an ally after hearing the story. Plot twists, a false alarm where Emily's remaining kidney showed strain, resolved with rest. Alexander's ex, a gold digger, resurfaced, testing trust, dismissed firmly. Emotional peaks, anniversary of donation, they visited Clara's grave. Thanks, Mom, Emily whispered. Alexander, she'd be proud. Climax resolution, at Foundation's first success story, a saved child, tears flowed. This is why, they agreed. Wrapping up, their legacy endures. Books, speeches, global impact. Message, in darkness be the light, kindness transforms, like if agreed, subscribe for more peace.